Funding for NotAVampyre is provided by viewers like you. Find perks and tiers at patreon.com/NotAVampyre. Thank you. Sometimes things just suck. They suck a lot. I mean, that's probably why we have a million ways of saying that's life. Kinda a way to diffuse tension that has nowhere else to go because sometimes stuff just happens. By a third party's hands or even by the will of nature. There's a lot that we have to deal with that we don't necessarily have control or say in. I think of the lowly small folk in Game of Thrones. Just people living their lives, or at least trying to, while nobles they've never met destroy their lands and use them as pawns in a fight they have no stake in. They just provide the means for their country folk and families to survive another day. What involvement have they in who sits on a pointy throne? I've been feeling this a lot lately. People dictating facets of my life who I will never know personally, and events occurring seemingly at random because I happen to just be present in the moment it all goes down. It's this kind of turbulence that is the hardest to face, when you can't reasonably affect the outcomes or change your situation. When the winning move is to not play, but by the nature of the game your participation isn't voluntary. There are sometimes places to put these feelings. Many great artistic masterpieces were derived from needing an outlet for what couldn't be expressed any other way. Societal-altering movements have been created in the hope that what the participants experienced would not be carried on to future generations. But sometimes there isn't a fight to be fought. There are times when the only thing to do is basically nothing. I think of Eli from Degrassi. He didn't know Campbell Saunders. He wasn't involved in his narrative, but Cam made himself integral to Eli's by pure happenstance. It was pure bad luck that Eli found him in the greenhouse after he committed suicide. In response, what could Eli do? He couldn't prevent it or retaliate against Cam. There was no one to battle and no way to change course. All he was left with was the aftershocks. Then I think of that scene from Rick and Morty where Summer is reeling from learning that she was an unwanted pregnancy and that her parents would have probably been happier without her. While it can come off as heartless, I consider Morty's response to be apt. Essentially, yeah, that sucks, but what can you do about it? What's done is done, so come watch TV. Sometimes we need to face what troubles us. Oftentimes distractions get portrayed as running from the problem, but that isn't always a fair assessment. When there's no one to defeat, or mind to change, or influence you can have a hand in, why should you let the pain plague you? Life often just sucks, but that's why we have entertainment to let us live in another universe for a time. No, it's not a replacement for action when it can be taken. Instead, it's a therapy for when you are utterly powerless. Sometimes the thing you need is your buddy roller skating around with caramel drizzled popcorn or a session in front of the boob tube. Personally, I've just spent the last 2 hours watching Whose Line Is It Anyway to process the seething rage I've been submersed in all day. Check my Twitter as to the cause. Stupid, improvised sexual innuendos did more for my well-being than the multiple conversations I've had today about all the chips on my shoulder, and that's okay. Self-care is part doing what you can to solve your dilemmas, and part using what feels good to remind you that not everything is totally terrible yet. Taking what you love and using it to dilute the torrent of negativity and bring you back to center. It's sometimes what you need, even if it isn't the solution to the catalyst of your distress. Yeah, so I've had a lot on my mind recently, especially with current events going on, and because I work in hotels. This video was supposed to be a quick and easy, my most unpopular opinions about Degrassi, but it didn't feel right to make it right now. As I described in the video you just watched, I felt like I had to put my feelings somewhere. Even though I knew that it wasn't going to fix it, that I'd still wake up tomorrow knowing what I know now and feeling somewhat similar, but at least I can put them somewhere for the time being. Emotions are complicated, yo. But if I said something that you find maybe interesting and want to help me keep saying more interesting things, you should check me out at patreon.com/NotAVampyre. Not only will you be supporting me and my ability to continue making videos, but you'll also get some nice perks like listen to my NotAVampyre Lately podcast that I do basically every other week. Or as Jacob Bilo did last month by requesting a video about Avenue Q, you can ask me to make a video about something of your choosing. And to be up to date when that video does come out, check me out at this Discord invite link. You'll find a content stream of the things that I and my friends create. You can chat me up in my NotAVampyre crypt, and of course you can find me on Twitter at NotAVampyre. Thank you very much for consuming this video, and until next time.